Good evening to all of you viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the news. Our major stories tonight: the civil society, political actors, and also religious leaders continue sending out condolence messages after the brutal killing of Martinez Zogo. The chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Nijon Funding, says this time around Cameroonians hope justice is going to take its course. And also in this newscast, over 2,000 refugees from Nigeria who were seeking refuge in Cameroon have returned back to their country of origin after spending almost 10 years in Cameroon. Stay with us for details and more. Welcome back, viewers. It is not yet over. The media space and also political actors, just like the civil society and religious leaders, continue to mourn the brutal killing of Martinez Zogo in the Mongo division. It was total dead air since yesterday, accompanied by religious soundtracks paying homage to the brutally killed and mutilated Martinez Zogo. Let's now have more with our reporter Malagori.
Only religious songs were heard over the radio airwaves in the Mongo division of the littoral region, while in some media houses an image of Martinez Zogo was displayed on their workspace.
Since morning, I've just been listening only to religious music. Only music. The radio, they don't say any other program does not go through, only music. When I tried to find out, they told me that it's in memory of Martinez Zogo, the journalist that was assassinated. There should be press freedom. The journalists, they should be free to say what is true and what is not true in this country.
These are media men and women of the Mongo division who have decided to stop production since Thursday till Friday 27th of January. This, they say, is a way to pay homage to their former colleague who was kidnapped, tortured and killed by unidentified individuals. They call for justice for Martinez Zogo.
We said if we continue doing as if nothing has happened, tomorrow it might be one of our staff. So we decided to stop working. We decided to put off everything, our microphones, our pen, to close our doors in order to let the opinion know that we don't accept, we refuse this way of maybe solving situation.
Journalist of Konsamba FM, Radio Maninguba, the press media, Quotidiano Vigil, they all announced the brutal killing of one of them. These press men joined their voices to other journalists across the country to say no to the arbitrary arrest and torture of media practitioners. They say enough is enough.
And now a mass in honor of Martinez Zogo took place today at the headquarters of Amplitude FM, where he worked before his brutal killing. And earlier on, the Bishop of the Kribi Diocese, Monsignor Damas Zinga Tangana, alongside other journalists, offered a mass in homage of Martinez Zogo that was in the Kribi Diocese. Let's now have how it happens in Kribi with our reporter once again, Mala Glory.
All dressed in black, they mourn the death of one of theirs, Martinez Zogo. These are journalists who have turned out in number to pay homage to their slain colleague. media men and women benefited from a mass service organized to offer end-of-year wishes to His Lordship Damas Zinga Atangana, an event which the parish priest used to pray for the soul of the departed. Media men in our country play a very important role. We all know what happened. It's heartbreaking. Although Cameroon government has signed several international agreements which protect human rights, such as Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 9 says, no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention and exile. These media practitioners therefore emphasize on the respect of their rights as journalists.
I am dressed this way in solidarity with my other brothers to call on the awareness of the government, to call on the awareness of the society that despite our wrongs, despite what we can say that is bad, we are media practitioners. No right is given to another fellow man, despite his post in this society, to take off the life of another person.
Despite threats received by journalists on a daily basis, they stress that what happened to Martinez Zogo should not repeat itself.
And just to let you know, that after the mass which took place today at the headquarters of Amplitude FM in Yaoundé, the Archbishop for the Yaoundé Archdiocese, Monseigneur Jean Baruga, paid a courtesy visit to the family residents of Martinez Zogo. That was earlier today. And also the chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Nijon Fundi, just like other political actors, made a stopover at the headquarters of Amplitude FM in Yaoundé, where Martinez Zogo actually worked before he was brutally killed. He was there with other political actors, just like Tumaino Damjoya of the UDC and other political parties, political actors who made a stopover at the radio Amplitude FM in Yaoundé. There on your screens you can see the chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Nijon Fundi, there signing the condolence register there at Amplitude FM alongside Joshua Using, who is also the first vice president of the Social Democratic Front. They were there before Nijon Fundi. Other political actors had made a stopover at Amplitude FM, where Martinez Zogo worked, denouncing several cases of corruption in Cameroon before he was brutally killed and abandoned. Let's now have the excerpt of Nijon Fundi after making a stopover at Amplitude FM in Yaoundé.
And when we started with the social democratic options for democracy and freedom to the Cameroonian people in 1990, in 1992 you had the press freedoms, and I think that between the journalists and the SDF, we fought for democracy in Cameroon from then up till today. But now where we are, that people are being abducted and assassinated, I want to believe that they assassinated them because they are doing their job, and maybe they might have made a statement that touched somebody somewhere, somehow.
And now we take you to the west region of the country, precisely in the Kunki, where at least one person said to be a night watchman has died in a fire incident which occurred in the Kunki. Let's now have more about the sad incident with our staffman, Asman Jikangebra.
Inhabitants of Sung, a locality in Banjul, west region of Cameroon, began the weekend on a sad note. A large carpentry workshop got destroyed as a result of a fire that occurred in the late hours of Thursday night, breaking Friday. I just heard neighbors shouting. When I went out, I noticed the harsh flames. We shouted to alert the people of the neighborhood. We tried calling on the firefighters, but they made us to understand that there was no van because all that they had was bad. Apart from destroying the items in the workshop, the night watch by name Swaibu got burnt in the fire. A man who is a guard in the house that got burned died. We are really sad to lose him. Informed about the ugly situation, the senior divisional officer of Nkunki was on the scene in the early hours of the day. A short circuit has been blamed for the fire incident, which killed the night watchman and destroyed the carpentry workshops alongside the equipment found inside the workshop.
And now we talk politics. Tomorrow, Saturday, January 28th, is the last day for political parties to send in their files ahead of the senatorial elections. The election into the upper house of parliament, the Senate, have been built for the month of March. And our reporters made a stopover at the election office here in Douala, where it was revealed that no party as at now has deposited its file. Innocent Aze has more.
At the divisional branch of Elekam in Wuri Division, Litowa Region, officials are yet to receive the first list of political parties running for the senatorial election. Since convening of the Electoral College by the head of state, we have not received any list yet, but we are available. Our doors are open. We have established commissions to receive the candidacy list, and we only hope that everyone will respect the January 28th midnight deadline to deposit their list. The Wuri branch office revealed that there are 297 electors. We have excluded 6 deceased municipal councillors, and the number of electors dropped from 270 to 264 in the Wuri division. At the level of the 30 regional councillors, 1 died, with 29 left. As concerns the list of traditional representatives, 1 died and 4 remaining. Thus, at the level of the regional council, 33 electors are to vote. This number plus 264 municipal councillors gives a total of 297 electors in the Wuri division.
De 297 électeurs.
Apart from revising the electoral list, the Elekam team has also delivered to the potential candidates inscription attestations on the electoral list.
L'attestation d'inscription sur une liste.
This is a document required in the composition of candidacy files. We have made sure they are made available and issued to all candidates.
Ces documents ont été bel et bien délivrés à tous ceux qui nous ont sollicité.
Though no list was received from any political party in the Wuri division by the time of this report on Friday at 6 p.m., the Elekam officials were hopeful lists will be deposited on their table throughout this Saturday and before the midnight deadline.
And now, ministers of CEMAC member countries have agreed to re-strategize the implementation of the sub-region's integrative project. These, the CEMAC officials say, will take the integration of the sub-region above the current level, which now stands at 70%. They are meeting here in Douala, and our reporter, for me, Armstrong Sanda, was at that meeting. He now tells us more.
Within the Central African Economic and Monetary Community sub-region, CEMAC, integration is at over 70%.
We are at the level of 70% of the integrative project. Today, the teams are on the field. They are managing the project. 75% of the project discussed in Paris has started. So you have to tell our population that we are very serious in our community with those projects. Because we can go on the field, we will organize mission on the field. So you will see what is being really done for our population.
An achievement which PREF CEMAC, the body in charge of the follow-up of the integrative projects of the sub-region, intends to take to 100% by dismantling all obstacles to intra-sub-regional trade.
How do you go from Yaoundé and to Brazzaville? Because if you can't go to Yaoundé with Brazzaville, you cannot develop trade between Congo and Cameroon. And if when you are going from Douala to Brazzaville, you have 120 checkpoints, it is impossible to develop trade because if you buy something, let's say at X price in Yaoundé, and you have to be stopped 25 times, 100 times, and you are giving money to police, you are giving money to gendarmerie. I'm not blaming anyone. When you reach Brazzaville, you have to change the price of your product. If you don't do that, you will not make money. So it is important that we control all those things.
The information was revealed at the end of a CEMAC interministerial meeting in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital city.
The objective of this ministerial meeting is to make sure that our minister follow up the implementation of decision taken by our head of state during the meeting of the summit of head of state of CEMAC in February 2021. 24 decisions were adopted during this meeting. So our head of state, they have requested a change in the follow-up of the decision. That is, we have to go point by point, after 3 months, after 4 months, to see realization on the field, not only theory, but also in practice.
CEMAC believes that these practical modalities and follow-up will boost integration and result in a strong and vibrant sub-region. The ministers on their part saluted Prev CEMAC for the work done and the over 70% level of integration within the sub-region.
And now over 2,000 Nigerians who have been taking refuge in Cameroon, they have been running away from Boko Haram attacks. They have regained their country of origin, Nigeria, after staying in the northern regions of Cameroon for over 10 years now, and the governor of the Far North region ensured that they have all it takes to resume life normally when they get to their country, Nigeria. Immaculate Fogwe tells us more.
Since 2013, these displaced persons from the Federal Republic of Nigeria have been seeking refuge in Cameroon. Persistent attacks from the Boko Haram terrorist sect forced them to escape. 10 years later, close to 2,000 Nigerians are on their way back to their country. Among the refugees is a second-class chief in Nigeria, His Royal Highness Alhaji Ali. Arriving in Cameroon with 27 children, he later had 10 others during his stay at the refugee camp in Minawao in the Far North region of Cameroon. I came to this camp with 4 wives and 27 children. I later had 10 children and 7 grandchildren while in Cameroon. During my stay here, we lived as a family. I will come visit my brothers and sisters next time. Upon their arrival in Nigeria, these persons will no longer be considered as refugees. This document renounces their refugee status because they are returning to their country. Each member has to sign on this document. Each family was offered foodstuffs and other basic necessities to enable them easily start life from afresh while in their hometown. The governor of the Far North region, Mijiawa Bakari, expressed his content while acknowledging the strong ties between Cameroon and Nigeria. This is not the first time that a voluntary repatriation has been carried out by the United Nations High Commission for Refugees.
And now, councillors of the East region of Cameroon say the East is in dire need of good roads and constant water supply as well as electricity. They made the complaints during the 2023 budgetary session, which has an increase of 39% compared to that of 2022. Lucy Liengu is here has more.
In order to redress the problem of lack of infrastructure, water crisis, power shortage, amongst others, faced by the population of the East region, the budget for the 2023 financial year has been fixed for 24 billion. It is expected that the budget be put in proper use.
nos infrastructures ne sont pas toujours aussi fiables.
Our infrastructures are not well planned. It is difficult to even justify the work carried out. Some workers have received query letters on how they carry out their duty.
800 demandes d'explications sur comment on a fait, qui a signé, quel était le contexte, qu'est-ce qui a prévalu.
A budget which has witnessed a 39% increase, according to Gabriel Ngakunda, Minister of Finance representative, it is based on innovations and promotion of local production.
On a amélioré, augmenté le volume de ressources qui était conquis.
We have turned to the import substitution method. We also hope for decentralization and innovations which will accelerate local production.
Qui vise quand même à améliorer la production locale.
And increased business persons are against because of high taxes.
L'État s'arrange à mettre toujours et ne tient pas compte surtout.
The government does not take into consideration the situation of its entrepreneurs. Immediately you finish working, you are no longer regarded or paid for work done. We also spend more than what we had in the past. The recent increase in price of fiscal stamp, among others, is a challenge.
Les marchés, les lettres commandes seront timbrées à 1500. Et si on a 100 pages, vous imaginez un peu les dépenses.
The budget will also help in the realization of certain projects like the construction of a hotel, the construction of the regional delegation for sports and physical education, Betwa.
And now in sports, the first phase of the Elite 2 Championship would end this weekend, while the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon will have intensified their training session ahead of their participation at the playoffs of the FIFA World Cup next February 18, 2023. Let's now have a roundup of our sports package for the weekend with Mark Jikan Gabriel.
The first phase of the Elite 2 Championship will come to an end this weekend with match day 13. A victory for AS FAP of Yaoundé against Ofta of Kribi, who recorded their first win of the league on match day 12 against Tekase, will see the Yaoundé-based side crowned as champions of the first phase in the absence of Victoria United that will be on standby. 6 matches will be played this weekend, with 3 coming on Saturday and the remainder on Sunday. Still in football, the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon have intensified their training sessions ahead of their participation in the playoffs of the Women's FIFA World Cup. In a warm-up encounter against the cadet men's team of Fondation Tafi at the Mbankomo Excellence Center, a goal from Brigitte Ombudu enabled the girls of coach Gabriel Zabotoze to play a 1-1 draw. The camp of the Indomitable Lionesses, which started on January 16, will end on January 29, 2023. Cameroon will face Thailand on February 18, 2023 in the first playoff game before challenging Portugal in the second match should they beat Thailand. A victory against Portugal will guarantee the Lionesses a place in New Zealand and Australia for the 2023 tournament. Meanwhile, Cameroon's international player Karl Toko Ekambi is now a player of Stade Rennais in the French Ligue 1 Championship. The former club of Karl Toko Ekambi, Olympique Lyonnais, loaned him till the end of the season. Karl Toko Ekambi has now joined another Indomitable Lions player, Christophe Wu. In combat, Francis Ngannou is now the most wanted person in combat firms in the United States of America. According to latest report, Bellator MMA is aggressively pursuing Francis Ngannou. The Showtime Sports president Stefan Espinoza confirmed their interest during an interview he granted to a media outlet. Stefan Espinoza says his platform can offer the 36-year-old Ngannou a great flexibility as the fighter could sign a multi-year deal to compete in MMA matches. Another destination for Francis Ngannou could also be the Professional Fighters League, which is a rising firm that awards its end-of-season champions with $1 million winner's check. Regardless whether Francis Ngannou joins Bellator and Showtime Boxing or the PFL and ESPN, he would instantly improve not only the roster but the visibility of the entire brand. Francis Ngannou became a free agent since he left the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC.
Thank you so much for that sports roundup out there. It brings us to the end of the news this evening on Equinoxe Television. Thank you viewers for always being there, but don't go away. Our programs continue. Equinoxe Soir comes up at 7 p.m. and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Have a beautiful weekend in the company of our programs. Bye-bye for now.